Hey guys, as you already know, tomorrow we'll be reading To Build a Fire by Jack London. Tomorrow we're going to look at a few literary elements in the story and analyze them. The first thing we're going to look at is the setting, because the setting plays a much bigger role in this story than it may in others. Remember what we've discussed in class. Setting is not just the place, but it's also the time period. These can affect everything in a plot. Remember in A Raisin in the Sun, the time period was the 1950s. The place was America. In America in the 1950s, there was racial discrimination and segregation. And the Youngers, our family, our main characters in A Raisin in the Sun, faced many conflicts and many issues because of the segregation and discrimination. And really, the setting of the discrimination and segregation created the rising action within the story. It also had a lot to do with the resolution. Now, in To Build a Fire, the setting is going to go even a little bit farther than just being the base of the story, just being the setting. The setting is actually going to be the antagonist. Now, I'm about to give you some information that you're going to need to pause the video and write down in your notes, which I'm going to check tomorrow. The first thing I want you to write down is antagonist, which is the bad guy. Protagonist, which is the good guy. So go ahead and pause. I'll wait. One more time. You're going to write down protagonist, good guy. Antagonist, bad guy. I'll wait. Good? Okay. So as I mentioned, sometimes a setting can create the conflict a character faces. Think of character versus nature. If it's something that's an issue that's causing problems and struggles because of the nature, so a rainstorm, a snowstorm, a hurricane, it can be the conflict. In the case of our story, though, the setting goes even farther than that. There's really only two main characters in this story. It's the main character, who's a young man, and the setting, the antagonist and the protagonist. The setting in this story is the antagonist, and the character, the young man, is the protagonist. And this is possible. This happens sometimes. You're going to write this down in your notes, and I'll wait while you pause again. Sometimes the setting can even be an antagonist or an opponent for a character. So again, sometimes the setting can be an antagonist or an opponent for a main character. Again, I'll wait. And I'm going to check these tomorrow. Okay, so we're not only going to look at how the setting is the antagonist and the setting is the conflict, but we're going to talk about how this conflict is affecting the character. How is the conflict the setting? How is the setting, the antagonist, making the character different? How is it causing them to make different decisions? How is it causing them to do different things, think different things? And of course, in the end, how does the setting create the climax and then the resolution? And I think you'll be surprised at what happens in this story. We're also going to be looking at the mood. And again, the setting is going to play a big role in the mood. Remember, we said in class that mood is the way the writer wants you to feel, wants the reader to feel. And in this case, the mood is going to be set by the setting. So, time to write down again. The mood will be set by the setting. By imagery and details, the readers will be able to determine the mood. So write that down. Setting equals mood through details and imagery. One more time. Setting equals mood through details and imagery. Pause and write. Okay, so last, tomorrow I'm going to check these notes, and then I'm going to also check the second part of this video, which is an activity I'm going to explain on Edmodo, right over here. So you're going to do a little bit of research on the Yukon, which is a Canadian territory. It's mountainous and it's very wilderness-like, and it's especially beautiful in both the winter and the other seasons, but it can also be a little dangerous. And so I have some specific questions for you that you're going to research and find the answers to. That's not to be posted on Edmodo. The answers are to be written down. One more time. The questions you'll see on Edmodo along with this video, the answers are to be written down, not on Edmodo. Tomorrow you're going to share these answers with your classmates, or your group members I should say, and then we're going to have a quick class discussion about it before we get started with To Build a Fire. So tomorrow, one more time, I'm checking your notes and I'm checking your responses to the questions that you'll see here on Edmodo. Okay? I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Get ready to work. Don't forget, we'll be doing our beanbag activities while we read, and I'll also be using the popsicle stick app to pick students to answer questions. If you have any questions for me, post them on Edmodo and I'll get back to you. See you tomorrow.